It's now been a little over a week since I made the last video. Not since I uploaded it, obviously that was this morning. At least when this video is made. And yeah, I have found lentils, so that's what I'm going to make. But yesterday, because I was looking at what ingredients I had, actually no, I'm going to tell you that later. I'm going to leave you in suspense about that. But things that I found that are going to let me make lentils. Casserole vegetables, as you can see, they went off a couple of days ago. That's why I got them reduced at the time. So that's 67p for a load of that, which means I'm now going to get swede and potato in my diet, which I've not had for over a month now. And then this celery is starting to get quite weedy. Apparently that's what happens in the middle of the celery, so I'm going to see what that's like. Use up my chilies, got some garlic. One of these went in the bin because I'm an idiot, so that'll be fun. And there's also going to be too much of that. Ended up buying a reasonably large bag of lentils. Now this says to cook to soak in water for 12 hours. However, I've never done that before, so I'm not going to do that. So let's see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to go 500 grams like I did with the lasagna, if I just go for 250, because that's what I was doing previously. I think just 250 should be fine, because I've got a load of casserole vegetables going on, so that should all bulk it out and that should work fine. But either way, let's get going with this, and then we'll see the fun things that are going to happen later. I'm also going to need this and this and then this. Boom, en place. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Don't know what to do with that. This is all very soft. I don't know if it's just because I've left it for too long or what. This doesn't seem like it'll work. I mean, maybe there's something that you can do with the celery leaves. Maybe it is also aromatic or something. I mean, that is very soft. I'm interested to know what effect that's going to have. I mean, it's still celery. Albeit a touch weird. I am using a lot more than I normally would, but as you can see, that's because these are much thinner than my standard celery stalks. Like this one is almost normal, but it's still like half the size of what I'd expect. So this is what I might call like baby celery. Anyway. Okay. My chilies are looking a bit grim, actually. Okay, oh, still smell like chilies. Maybe they just get more potent. That's what I'm gonna have to hope. I'm gonna wash these. Yeah, the skin on them is getting a bit wrinkly. So probably best we use them soon. Luckily, that's what we're gonna do. So we'll cut these down the middle, so I don't have like rings of chili going on. I really must try one day is making like my own chipotle or something like that. Feels like it'd be fun. Very sorry. This will all have gone far too quickly. You know, if you've been sticking around for many hours, which I realise nobody has been doing because I can see the analytics figures. But if anybody were here for that, if later on this becomes a whole thing that people discover it and they're like, oh, actually, I love me some slow TV. Get some Scandinavians in. They're going to be bitterly disappointed because the majority of my prep was just this already done. Hey, Swedes! Anyway, let's get on with this then. So, this is filming. Yes. Right, let's make this happen. You know the drill. Some of them matches. Well, that was stupid. Luckily, I conveniently left the matches on the floor here. Stay alight. Oh, that was far too much. Never mind. Well, it was good for me. So, I mean, I realise that there's potatoes in the casserole veg, and therefore it shouldn't be used quite like I've been using a mirepoix. But there's also elements of mirepoix in there. We've got onions in there, we've got carrot in there. So I am just going to chuck it all in. Throw caution to the wind. Yep. All goes in. Yeah, I think the Swede has turned slightly. We'll see how it goes. Oh, there's leeks in here as well. Oh, I'm getting a... Is there onion in here or is it just leek? I'm sure it's not a problem. Okay, let's get that all mixed up. And unlike last time, I will remember to add the salt. Loads of salt. So the thing about salting is that if you put the salt in early, or such is my understanding. Oh yeah, there's some onion. Yeah, if you put the salt in early, then the flavour is going to dissipate, is going to lessen. Whereas if you put the salt in very late, then you're still going to have that salty flavour. Now, in theory, that means you've got two options. If you don't mind a lot of salt in your diet, salt as you go, salt early, salt often, and then you'll get something that has like a very even salt to it. However, if you do need to have a low salt diet for whatever reason, then what's a good idea is to just leave it until right at the end, and then put a bunch of salt in then. And then you'll have put less salt in overall, but it will still taste salty. Or so goes the theory. Anyway, let's do 250 grams of lentils. And I'm just going full American on this, pine boil to weigh it. I'm going to do the same thing with the thing I make later, because the first recipe I found was in cups and tablespoons and everything, so that's what I'm doing. We'll see how that goes. I'm sure that we found out in another video that lentils are about the same density as water, so this seems like a sensible plan. And it feels right that they would be, because, you know, you always get a few that are floating and a few that aren't, and then it's when they actually soak up the water they stop floating. So I'll believe that. Boil some water. Get those leeks out themselves. Empty that out because I'm going to need to measure my water in there. I'm not sure what's going to happen because I apparently have taken to just lightly frying these lentils. Let's see how it goes. Still got beef stock, so use some beef stock. Everything needs to be beefy. I think these lentils are actually cooking, which I mean makes sense. I have no idea what it's going to do to them. I should really put some water in by now, but it's still boiling. I'm intrigued. try this. That seems more like a decent plan. We want that to be proper rolling boil for about 10 minutes. Time. There's a clock right here. 4:45, that's what that says. So, 4:55, we're good to go. Let's use up all of my tomato puree. Okay. So I'm just going to tip out whatever's left in here. That's going to be some extra flavour. Keep in mind, there's only actually like a week left of Lent. In fact, yeah, 1 week from today is the last day of my Lent. So, there we go. Should I be doing more impressive things? I don't know. That's about as much as I'm going to get, unless I push the burger and open the other end. So, and welcome to Flavour Town. I don't know if I've used too much. This is all. Well, obviously, last time I was doing this with twice as much lentils, and obviously that soaked up a lot. But also, I mean, I've got potatoes in here that need to be cooked, so this is all things that I need to do. I need to keep taking into account. Of course, this is going to be in for about an hour altogether, at least. So, while I'm here, a bit more salt because I don't trust myself. I should have checked. I should have just tasted that before adding the salt that I just added, because for all I know, I'm making a complete mess of this. There we go. It is in my idiom. You know, I'm not entirely sure if the joke in Monty Python was that in my idiom doesn't mean anything and Lancelot's an idiot. It seems entirely possible that that is what the joke was. And I've just spent my entire life thinking that something being in your idiom is like being in your wheelhouse, as being part of your character. Let's flavour some. Oh! Oh, it's spicy. Okay. But like, back of the throat kick, you know? The good stuff. Well, that is that. That just needs to sit there and do its thing for a while. So I'm going to wait 5 minutes, but I'm going to start preparing the other thing that needs preparing. Just a moment. We are ready for this. Okay, so we need 1 cup of water. I'm going to need flour, I'm going to need sugar, I'm going to need salt. So, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Hello, tablespoon. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Clearly that just means a whack of salt, but that's what I'm doing anyway. 1. I mean, I could get actual measurements, but who wants those? You want 2 tablespoons of oil? 2 tablespoons of oil. 2. Nicely done. Hello.
Which smells nice and savoury?
Yeah, actually, that needs to stop boiling. Okay, that's been 10 minutes, so that comes off the boil and becomes a simmer. Stir it up good. The sugar was starting to stick, so why any recipe would have me actively mix water and oil, I'm not sure, especially being that there's no emulsifier in there. But never mind, I'm going to turn this up because we want this to boil. Okay, while we're here, I need to prepare a cup of flour. Let's dry this out a little bit. I bought some more flour because you'll remember there's sod all left in here. But all I could find was strong brown flour. And I don't particularly want to make bread at the moment. Maybe at some point during the week, sure. But anyway. So I'm just going to use the end of this white flour. Yeah, this recipe that I'm currently doing calls for what the Americans call all-purpose flour. So we're going to use as much of the white flour as we can get away with, which is to say, as much as we have. What we have is half a cup. So this is going to be half and half. Now let's see what strong brown flour is like. I've never used brown flour. I've used all sorts of wholemeals, but I honestly just never understood what brown flour is, so I avoided it. Looks like a lot like white flour, just a little bit darker. Is this why you sift things, so it doesn't just end up pouring all over the table? So that's going back in. Probably should have cleaned it, never mind. I am a responsible baker. Oh, this isn't baking, it's just heating flour. Okay, that is boiling, and so we bring it off the heat entirely and immediately pour the flour in, apparently. Let's see what this does. This should now mix into a batter of sorts. Okay, so let's get rid of the mystery. What I am in theory making, so I googled last night sugar, flour, water, sugar, flour, oil. It's like, what can I make with just sugar, flour and oil? Well, apparently a clump. And the thing that came up, time and again, was churros, or as I would call it, churros, because you know, what's fat. Got it mixed in. I mean, we need this to not have any obvious flour in it anymore. I feel like if we're making churros, then surely it needs to be more liquid than this. Let me see what the picture looks like. No, it does seem to be a glob. So let's stick with that. So keep smushing it together. Keep smushing, keep smushing together. Keep smushing, keep smushing. I mean, is that going to get any better than that? And say no, and then apparently we leave it to cool for 10 minutes. Conveniently, it's 5 o'clock, so 10 past. So we do appreciate some quick maths around these parts, don't we? I mean, I won't say it couldn't become churros. It has some flavour to it, and actually, one of the things that normally annoys me about churros is that there's a lack of flavour to it. There's always, it feels like there should be something more going on. And always remember, the dirty secret of all cooking is that, oil and sugar, or fat and sugar together, are delicious. So, you know, you can always get away with that. So leaving that to cool, leaving that to get on with itself. Yeah, this is a bit easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off of here. Oh, actually I can just do that. That works too. Actually does it. What is in frame? Okay, I'm going to have to move this around a little bit. More. There we go. Right. Is this clean? Sure. The last few times I've used this, it's not smelled good, but it's not doing too badly at the moment. Right. More importantly, does my thermometer work? Otherwise, I'm eyeballing this, which seems like a bad plan. Hey! On! Temperature's apparently 23 degrees. I'll believe that. Okay, I want to set this to 190. Now, this is the shitty little thermometer I'm using, which I bought for, I want to say a £5, but I think it may have actually been a tenner at Tesco. And that was a bad idea, because it turns out it is not a good thermometer. But either way, that's where we are. So 190 is the temperature we want to be at. So generally, when you're frying dough, actually it ends up being the same temperature you would bake at anyway. So your 170 to 190 degrees is a good place to be. This has stopped showing me a temperature. Oh, 4 degrees. It's definitely not 4 degrees. Don't be stupid. I mean, maybe the water it was in? No, that seems unlikely. Yeah, this is just a bad thermometer. But it's what I've got, so it's what I'm working with. Definitely need a new thermometer. So, well, not so much a new one, just one that isn't shit. So, leave that at that. Give this a stir. Let's make sure the potatoes are good and underneath everything. You know? Yeah, you know. Okay, that's saying 22 degrees again. Okay, we're back to it being a sensible temperature for considering that we're not doing anything. Right, now, not going to transfer that quite yet. Just check and make sure it's still tasty. I'll do. What I will do is start working this out. So I know you were worried that I wouldn't get to use all of my oil. And I definitely won't get to use all of, for instance, the lasagna that I bought. Probably that flour that I bought this week. Let's get some more oil in there. Why else do I have that massive tub of oil for throwing away, if not to waste some oil? And yeah, so in theory, you're supposed to get like 2 inches of this. I've barely got 1, because oil is expensive. Like getting enough oil for deep frying is expensive. So you want to be able to reuse it if you can. And I may do that. As long as my dad doesn't need to use this pan, I may be able to like make some more churros tomorrow or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. And yeah, let's turn this on and get some temperature happening. There we go. I'm gonna hope that this is measuring whatever's happening at the tip. Oh. Don't reset, you bastard. I'm going to take the plastic off this. Oh, hello. 100. It's now 31 degrees. And once again, I don't know if that's just that it's measuring the very bottom of the pan, which won't be helping. But you know, bad thermometer. Got that armour pull open. Absolutely blaming my tools. Okay, 9 minutes. So what I need is this. I did find, I had a look around, we do have actual piping bags, we just have no nozzles. Obviously, ideally with this, I want to have a nozzle. I want to be, yeah, doing it so it's got a nice little sort of corrugated edge to it. But that's not what's happened. So I'm going to do an old-fashioned makeshift piping bag. Now, unfortunately, this has some weird corners to it, and I've already ruined that side, so it's going to have to be off this side. Screw it, I'm going to do it that way. That'll learn it. I'm going to actually take the end off it. I know I'm meant to use a corner. That's not what I'm going to use. Or I'm going to first put the dough in. Is that going to work? Oh, that is going to be far too fat. Yeah, that is far too fat. Okay. Luckily, this was already a bag that had been pre-used. So, let's get another one. I worry it's one of the ones that I used for Lent last year. That is entirely a possibility. Because who else uses freezer bags? If not me. So now, oh, and a weird little hole. Not a big manly hole like I had before. Let's see if that works better for me. Okay, that's now saying 114 degrees. Keep it going. And that's still far too big. But what else can I do? Can I make a smaller hole? Is that possible? How would that work? Because this is breaking open. Screw it, I'll make fat churros. And maybe it'll contract in the oil. Let's see what happens. If it's coming out too fat, then we know the problem we have. While I'm here, I'm going to get a big plate and sprinkle some sugar on it. Pour some sugar on it, on a plate of dusting. And that's probably too much. 22. Sounds like it's starting to warm up. Now, there was a while when I tried, if you've ever followed my Instagram, where I tried making donuts, and that's why I originally bought the thermometer and everything. And I stopped because I decided that if I was going to be deep frying things, I should get a deep fryer because it would be able to maintain the temperature properly. So I think what I have to do now is do this, but then leave it for a while to make sure I've got the temperature stable. But I'm actually maintaining it around 190 degrees. And I don't know how that's going to work. And then with a bit of luck, that should mean that it doesn't all get really weird. So, see how this goes. So if I leave that in the middle, like so, you see I've kind of dipped the wire in there a bit as well, but hopefully that wire is made for dipping. And that's just what it'll do. It's now saying 180. So 182. So I'm going to turn this down a bit. Don't put this on a low heat. So I think that's going to keep heating up because the thermometer is going to take a while to register. It will still need some warmth on it, but not that much warmth on it. Now, how long do I need to cook these for? Whew, let's open the window. My dad is outside gardening, so we may hear a strimmer or something. Okay. Yes. What do I do with that? How do I stop that doing that? I want it to stop beeping at me. Stop beeping at me. I mean, don't turn it off. It's turned itself off. Stop. Yes, I'm aware. Stop it. It's confused itself greatly. Yes, I know. It's now saying 187. How do I turn this off? No, I don't want it to be a timer. I mean, look, I want it to be on. I want to be able to see what it's doing. Yes, I know. No, don't switch. Stop beeping at me, you bastard. Screw it, I'm gonna set the temperature to 200 and hopefully no. Okay, that's the thing to do. Is just set it to a higher temperature. Hurry up. Why won't you press down? Because you suck. Here we go. Okay, that's now on 195. But it has been dropping slightly, so I'm going to increase the temperature a little bit. See how? Okay, so time to try and squeeze one of these out and see what happens. Okay, that's far too fat. There's no way that is the correct width for a churro. That is no and no. Grab a new one. I realise this is a waste. Oh, hello. Oh, these have actually got an edge on them. No idea where these came from, but I'm having them. Well, I mean, I have exactly an idea where these came from because they clearly came from IKEA. But anyway, screw you, Tesco. I mean, I could just make little donut holes. That would work too. Make it properly piping baggy. Weeny little snip off the end. See if that'll do the job. Yeah, this thermometer's doing absolutely nothing. I'm just gonna... Oh, 181 now says. Maybe you just don't like being submerged. Okay, so get a bit more heat on that. Oh, now it's saying 183. Okay. Anyway, let's try this. Ew. No, that's just split down the side instead. Brilliant. Okay, that's now too tight. We need a comfortable middle ground. Luckily, making it too small means it should be easy to make it bigger. The moral of the story is get yourselves an actual piping bag if you're planning to do some fat batters. Let's try this. Oh, that's just fully split. Screw it. Fine. I'll just do this the stupid way and roll it in my hands. Making a little turd in my hands. Hand turd. Feels about right. We lay this down. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that smells like deep frying. We should have cleaned that pan. Here's what we're learning. Do I have something suitable for that? Counts as a slotted spoon, right? Oh, hello. Also hello. Less hello. As ever, we've got a lot of brown flour in this, so our definition of golden brown has to change slightly. That still needs cooking. How's this one doing? Also, still needs cooking. 178. See, this is lower than I wanted. This is why we need a deep fryer, so we can do this right. Or maybe get like a sous vide, that type situation. I'd be interested to know what that does with deep frying. So I've got two plates here. I've got one plate with a sheet of paper on it, and another plate with a bunch of sugar on it. So the plan is, once done, one of these goes on the paper to dry out, and then goes on the sugar to delicious. I mean, this is looking quite golden brown on all sides. This isn't. That one's refusing to cook like that. No, get a bit more heat on there. Maybe. This is how they all burn. Okay. So the question is, if I cut into one of these, what's it going to look like inside? Actually, maybe? Is that right? I have no idea. I can't tell. So, I mean, the inside should be weird and stringy anyway. I have no idea if that's actually working. Either way. May as well just cook the inside as well. Okay, that's looking brown. That one's considering being brown. I think I'm just going to do thinner churros. I mean, they're sausages, is what they are. Let's call a sausage. Whatever it is silly. I suppose all I'm really looking for here is to not burn it. Oh yeah, that's got some goodness going on. Let's get the inside nice and browned on that one. See what that does. See, I was once told a while back that I had to make churros and bring them to Peckham live band karaoke to go along with the nachos they have at the Ivy House. But the people that told me to do that never again went together to Peckham live band karaoke at the Ivy House. So I never had a chance to make them, which means I never bought the pastry bag and the nozzles. I mean, if this is going to be done, surely it is now done. But yes, definitely use smaller bags for the next lot. small bags, smaller batons, whatever. I wonder what beignets need. I mean, surely they're just going to be donuts. Okay, let's see what these do. Well, they're still cooking in their own juices. That's fine. Make this one a fair bit thinner and see what happens. Maybe I should have rolled them all at the same time and then chucked them all in at the same time, as opposed to doing them one by one. However, that's not what I did. It's now well established that I am not good at cooking, so we should not be surprised by this. Okay, we're still looking at 179 degrees on there, so hopefully that's not too bad. And my final one. Let's take the second one of these and see what it looks like on the inside. Possibly far too hot? No, that's still too hot. Leave that for a moment. Of course, this is actually something I need to do before I work out when to take these out. But luckily, I'm an idiot, so roll that a little bit. No, that's rolling over by itself. This is the problem when you make them too thin. They roll over by themselves. I mean, you know, you've made sausages before, you know how this works. It's like, screw it, do our own thing. Possibly also why you use more oil. Okay, I've taken the tip off of the biggest one. I mean, I'm guessing that's still dough inside. But the dough was tasty, so it actually reminds me a lot of buñuelos. It's weird because key component of buñuelos is cheese, and the not at all component of these is cheese. But anyway, let's dust them in some sugar. Come on, get some sugar on you. Don't be shy. You know, this is the one I need to check the other side of. There we go. Surely, if they're done, they are done. Well, if they're going to be done, they are now done. That's still saying over 170, so it should be cooking. Be good looking. What you got cooking? Oh, hello. Is that any worse than I would expect churros to be if using brown flour? I don't know. Well, maybe I should brine the potatoes next time. What am I kidding? I'm never going to cook again. Okay, those are very brown. So, put them there. These also go on there. And these go on there. And there we go. Alright. Is the churros done? Churros? Churros! Okay. Leave that for a moment. I mean, I could do these again. Or I could try doing like donut hole situations. Right, what we got here? Yoink. So yeah, that's what that's looking like. That's what they're looking like with sugar on them. This is what eating them looks like. That's what the inside looks like. Is it raw dough? Maybe. But I was doing fantastic business with just eating the raw dough. So I'm not too unhappy with that situation. Okay. I think this is the main reason why you deep fry them, is so the sugar sticks to them. Now obviously, people who aren't heathens would instead have a sugar and cinnamon mix. But sugar is what we got, and therefore what we use. Here's the annoying thing as well. I had said potentially I would want my challenge day to be to go and eat out, and I'm quite happy to suggest that my challenge day was in fact having a pandemic happen, which meant that there was no food left in the supermarkets, and I think that's worked quite nicely. But equally, it would have been good if it turned out I had some money left at the end to just spend that all on the last day, you know? But that's not what happened. Okay, let's try one of the thin ones, see what that's like. Right. It does have a whole churro situation going on. It's feeling churro-y. I'm not gonna complain. Should I eat all of these in one sitting? Possibly not, but I don't know if they keep. So, you know, it would be irresponsible of me to not eat them in one sitting. The sugar certainly works. Okay, let's get ourselves back onto the lentils. So I think it's probably about time for them to be ready. Is it? Maybe. Okay, so there's two things I need to check for here. Are the lentils soft enough to eat? And are the potatoes soft enough to cut into? So, or to eat, in fact, as well. Or are they still raw? I mean, they're hot inside. We'll give them that. No, that is too hot. I'm going to assume they're cooked, because they are very hot. It's probably not a sensible way to do these things, but there you go. I mean, they're not hard, if you know what I mean. I'm going to call that done. Right, what do I need to do then? I need to get some Tupperware. Use the oil plate. I'm going to use the oil plate because it's there. It's mostly clean. You go in the sink. You go in the sink. Everybody goes in the sink. First things first. Get my slightly glossy plate. And pour a portion onto that. So I'm thinking we've got 2 more portions left in here, hopefully. Hasn't burnt on. That's nice of it. Leave that to cool down. That's down to 123. That's still an inferno. Let's eat. Oh, I managed to do this all as a oneer. I think I did. That'll work. Right, here is where we find out how badly I messed this all up. Because I mean, that was all. Oh, you know what I didn't check was the Swedes. I feel like the Swede would be what will cause real problems. But anyway. That's some soft potato. Success so far. See how the Swede's doing. It's fine. There we go. Oh, and I mean, basically, it's got the same flavour as the. I'm like, oh, that's gone. Probably saltier. I think that's what it is. It's saltier because you know I put more salt in. There you go. Oh, that's too hot. It's definitely cooked. That's about it, really. It seems to have worked. This should feed me for a couple of days. I'll say there's not that much left on it. I've got, how much have I got available money-wise? £3.92 currently. So that's what it says. Give it a refresh just in case it's not updated. Working. £4.92. Yeah, £4.92. So, presumably one or two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to hit a Morrison's Too Good To Go and I have loads of money going on, or I might end up splashing out and doing something fancy. I would say I could have a dinner party, because that was the other thing that I was considering, was that the challenge be that I have to do a dinner party. But obviously, with the social distancing and the isolating in place and whatever you want to call it, wherever you are, that's not going to happen. So, honestly, I think this diet as a way of losing weight, not that helpful, because it turns out you can actually feed yourself pretty well, as long as you don't want too much variety in your diet. And you don't want any brand names. I'll say that. I've been using East London and is it Natto, I think is these? Whatever. So yeah. Now I would show you me eating the whole thing, but I need to take a photo of these churros for Instagram. So that's what I'm gonna do. Get them both hopefully in frame. Put a thumbnail. Yeah, there we go. Me eating from one side of it, like normal humans do. There we go. We'll leave it at that.